It's time. It's time for talk comics to me. I just mixed two words together and that sounded bad.
Yeah, I loved it.
I am Championstein.
I'm Heather Hadfield.
And it's we're here to talk about comic books, just the normal, except for we're far away from each other, which is always just sad.
It is. For some reason, and I don't know why, but it's always like more difficult to record this way, like not recording necessarily, but like to get into the flow like we normally do, like when we're
Yeah.
together. This is fine, like it works, it does what we need it to do, but it never feels the same.
True. True.
So yeah.
It's okay. You take us away.
Okay.
On the
I'm gonna
boat
start.
On the boat of comics.
We're going straight to hell. Ready?
Yes.
This is my book. Quick question before I start. When I hold up a book like this, does it show up the right way on yours?
Yeah.
Okay. It always trips me up when I see it in mine because I'm like, this is backwards. How are they going to know what it says? Okay, that's good to know.
But it's funny because it works with that book anyway.
Does it? Yeah.
Yeah, Santana just like says stuff backwards. You know?
Yeah. Yeah, this is a book about Carlos Santana. This is called Zatanna, The Jewel of Gravesend. It's one of those little young adult DC graphic novels by Alice Arden and Jacqueline De Leon. I have not gotten a chance to actually read this yet. I got it because Jacqueline De Leon is an artist that I've been following on Instagram for years and years now, and I absolutely love her art. But yeah, this is just, again, a little different origin story, I guess, of Zatanna, or just a story of like a certain period of her life with different origins.
Yeah.
So
does Rob Thomas make an appearance in there?
Oh, I'm sure he does somewhere. I haven't quite gotten to that part yet, but I'm pretty sure there's a chapter called Smooth in here.
Okay, cool. Just wanted to make sure.
But yeah, I'm just gonna show a page of like some of the art, like the colors and stuff. Like Jacqueline De Leon's really good with mystical like colors and scenes and stuff. Like I found her a few years ago during Inktober, and she was doing like a series of witches and they looked really cool. So I'm very excited to read this because what I have seen like flipped through it, it just looks really nice. So
all right.
Yeah, I will rate it once I finish it and let y'all know.
Get on Goodreads.
Yeah. I got to delete my Goodreads. I went back and was like looking through some of the books I read, and I was like, if anyone finds this, they're going to have fuel to make fun of me for life.
There's nothing wrong with that.
No, there's not. But I don't need the reminder of the period of depression that I went through where I was only reading terrible books on purpose.
Yeah. Just delete it, start a new one.
Yeah.
Just rate that book only for that. Okay, so I have Vampire Slayer. This is issue number 4. I took this off my pull file, y'all. I didn't read the last one. I'm not going to read this one. I was talking to Heather and I was saying that I thought that each issue was like a different artist. The writer is the same, but the artist is different. And that is true. That is something. All 4 issues have been by a different artist. But the story is supposed to just be all of one thing. So I don't like that. I think that's why the 3rd issue, when I opened it, I was like, I don't want to read this because the art is different again. Why would I keep reading something where the art is different every issue?
Yeah, it makes it, I mean, we just talked about this, but it just makes it really confusing because my mind immediately just thinks like each issue is a different story, but since it's like all the same story, just different art, it just makes it confusing for some reason.
I don't like it. And I did like think that 2nd issue was like interesting and like where the story would have gone, but I just don't care enough and I cannot get past that like aspect of it to like make it happen. Like there's no way.
Do you know how many issues it's supposed to be? Like, is it 6?
I don't know. I thought it was just supposed to be an ongoing book, actually.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I wasn't
So
sure. Like I had assumed it was too, because that's what they do with Buffy, but I also wouldn't have been surprised if it was like, hey, this is just like one tiny series that we're doing. So
yeah, and I also wouldn't be surprised if it got like canceled pretty quickly too. Like
yeah.
honestly, because it was just like it's not that great. And I think the fact that they can't just like have one continuous artist is a weird thing. Like that doesn't make
Mhm.
sense to me.
Yeah. Yeah, because that makes me wonder why they're doing
Yeah,
that.
exactly. Like why do you have, and it's not like it's like switching, it's
Right.
like completely different artists from each issue.
Yeah, don't like that.
And like the art is like very different. I think that's the other thing. So it's not like they're somewhat similar, they're all very different.
Hmm. Yikes. I'm gonna have to look at the other issues because I only read the first two and then I just kind of took it off. So I'll have to like flip through the other ones and just take a gander.
Yeah, I would say just like at least get that aspect of it. Just like, what the
Yeah.
fuck? Okay, are you ready?
Yes.
All right, we got I Hate This Place. This is issue number 3. This is a book by Kyle Starks and I Arsian Topolin.
Pokemon. Yeah,
Topolin. Um, I really like this issue. I really like this book a lot.
I do too. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I would say it's silly, but it also has like a tone of seriousness to it, which I
Mhm.
like is odd and I like it. Like the serious tone is weird. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, there's definitely some undertones, some serious undertones and stuff, especially with like the relationship between the two main characters,
Hmm.
how they have been dealing in their lives and stuff like that. But yeah, I don't know. I really like this. This issue, they get a ghost hunter to kind of go with them to their land, the farm that they live in now, and do a little bit of investigating, but it kind of turns into something a little deeper than just a ghost
Yeah.
hunter.
Uh,
It's a lot of fun, especially because I think we talked about it the first issue. Like it's obviously not just paranormal stuff. There's
yeah.
like aliens and like cryptids almost in this, which I thought was a really cool touch because it's not just one thing. It's all sorts. It's like the most haunted thing that you can think of in every way.
Yeah, and I think that's that without being like overbearing.
Mhm.
Because it could be like, oh, this is just like silly because there's too much, but it's like, oh no, it's fine because it's like there's enough, like it's balanced well enough, and like, yeah, I think the characters have enough dynamic to make the story like interesting. And the art is really good, so I think that also like pairs very well with like the story we're getting because it also feels very like horror movie esque in the way that it looks.
Yes, I 100% agree with that. And you know, we love cheesy horror movies anyway, and this is like cheesy with again the serious undertones, so it's just makes a very enjoyable story.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, I have Sulphur Wells. This is a blue blood moon. I just looked this up. I think it's Blood Moon Comics is the line that it is through. It's issue number 1. It's by Otis Crane and Sarah Stella Scalia. I had no idea even what this book was about when I added it. I saw one page of Sarah Stella Scalia's art and I was like, that's cool. I'm going to read that. And I actually really, really enjoyed this first issue. It's about two friends who are kind of managing the waterways in their town. And they're trying to avoid a local cryptid that's in the area. But there's obviously like more to the story and stuff. It deals a lot with living in poverty and how that like changes the way that you live and experience things. So they're trying to survive in multiple ways. And I thought that was a very cool touch to the story because the main character, you get like him growing up in like foster care and stuff like that. And then as an adult, how that changed the way that he views the world.
Yeah.
So I really enjoyed it. I thought it was surprisingly enjoyable.
That's good.
Yeah, and I'm not quite sure how many issues it's supposed to be. Like there's only 3 solicited, but that also doesn't mean anything.
Mm-hmm.
But also it's a very small comic publisher, so I don't know much about it. And Sarah Stella Scalia does not have like a web presence at all. Like
That's good.
she has an Instagram, but it's like privated, so I just can't find anything out about any of these people. So I'm not sure what's going on with this story, but I like it. I'm excited to see, and hopefully there will be like at least 5 issues, even though at this point I'm pretty sure they could tell the story in just 3.
Yeah.
I'm just selfish and I like it.
All right. Should I go?
Yes, you may go.
Okay. Thank you. Appreciate
Of course.
it. I have George R.R. Martin's Wild Card. This is drawing of the cards. This is issue number 1. So it's going to be, I think, 5-issue series.
Mhm.
It's by Paul Cornell does the writing, and Mike Hawthorne does the pencils, and Adriano Di Benedetto does the inks, and Ruth Redmond does the colors. Everybody, Corey Pettit does the letters. There's a lot of people who are doing this book.
Yeah.
I didn't mind the way it looked. Did you read this at all?
I didn't. I flipped
okay.
through it though, and that's what kind of made me want to pick it up to read it. It looked really nice.
Yeah, it looks really nice. I guess if you have read any Wild Cards, this is the first chapter of the first book wrapped up into one little comic, I guess, or the first 4 chapters. That's Dave was telling me about it. So this kind of just like introduces you to the idea of wild cards, that there are some extraterrestrial beings who look like humans, who have this gas that does very terrible things to people. Dr. Adam, I think is his name, gets a hold of this thing because a guy crashes, one of the extraterrestrials crashes into Earth. Sorry, and there is a character named Bobby. I'm just trying to like remember their names, and they have like very like iconic names.
Mm-hmm.
But they're basically enemies. They have like comic books written about them. The idea of wild cards is this gas gets sprayed onto Earth or something like that happens, and it starts turning people into wild cards. And that just determines how, like, you know, the suit is how strong they are and like the power sort of things that they get. Don't ask me. There's a lot to it.
Yeah, Dave, he spent, like I said, like a couple hours that one day when I worked with him, like kind of explaining it to me. And I know that like the gas kills some people, doesn't do anything to others, gives notable superpowers to a handful, and then affects another handful, but like not necessarily in a good way, not necessarily in a bad way.
Yeah.
It's just something is different, which I thought that was like a really cool aspect of the story. And that was why I was like, okay, I kind of want to read that. Like Jokers, I would love to be a Joker.
Yeah, no, it is like, I do think it's a really interesting idea. Like there's like what, 30 books or something. There's like a stupid amount of books. Every time Dave tells me about it, I mean, of course he tells me about like the most outrageous things. But it sounds like just ludicrous, and some things sound really interesting. I feel like it does feel like any sort of like sci-fi or George R.R. Martin-esque thing.
Yeah.
But just wild cards.
There it is.
There it is. That's all I have to say about it.
All right.
With no previous knowledge, which I probably should have just like read the first book real fast because it can't be that long.
Yeah. Or I mean, if it is, like, I know that those types of books usually read pretty quickly. So
Yeah. Is there
I've
a
been wanting to read it too.
Is there cliff notes for it?
We'll Google it after this. We'll figure it out.
Okay, so next we have Sins of the Black Flamingo. This is issue number 2 of 5. This is just about our little thief who breaks in and finds something that he was not anticipating. And this just moves the story just like right along.
Yeah, it's it does a really good, has a very nice flow.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I like about it is because his thing is he breaks in, steals things, and returns them where they're supposed to belong. And he stole from the wrong guy this time, and he's getting followed.
Yeah, I like the pace. I like how quick it moves, even though it's like it is very fast. It is just very much like, well, cool. I like where this is going. I think it's really interesting.
A lot happens, and there's like a lot of characters that are introduced. Well, there's a lot of people that are introduced in this, but obviously they're just like one page characters, so they're not necessarily important. But I love all the people that were kind of brought to our attention in this one. The whole club that he ends up in, like, it was very good. I really like this story.
Yeah, I'd say if the art is really, really great, like that aspect of the book is like phenomenal. Like, yeah, just a well put together book.
Yeah, it's a very beautiful book, and I just love it.
Suggest it for all our gays.
Yeah, the gays would love this. All right, I am going to talk about Gambit.
Yes.
And this is what I'm going to say. This is issue number 1. This is Claremont. This is Claremont continuity. So, like you mentioned, 90s. I tried 3 different times to read this. I got about halfway through. Not for me. It's not for me. I do not.
Oh, mon ami.
I know. You're telling me, right? I was pretty disappointed because if you know anything about me, you know I love Gambit. And I liked 90s X-Men. Like, I liked the stuff that Claremont did, but I don't know what it is about this. I just did not. I was not into it. Maybe it's because I've been reading like Teeny's take on Gambit for so long now that I really like how
she partial.
Yeah. And I guess it's not bad necessarily. It's just I have no interest in this story. So I'm gonna try to finish it. I'm gonna take 4. I'm gonna try it, see how that feels. And if I can't do that, then I'm just gonna have to not read the series.
Are you gonna get the issue still?
Well, yeah, the second issue has the Hellfire Gala variant. It's got Slutty Gambit. Of course I'm gonna get them. But it does very much have that 90s feel to it. Like, it just feels like, I don't know, I'm reading this 20 years ago. So,
all right.
Well, I'll try because I do feel like maybe I was trying to read this on Thursday when all that stuff happened. And so maybe that was like part of it. But also I tried reading it Wednesday at work too and couldn't do it then either. So we'll see. We'll see what's going on.
Oh, poor Gambit.
I know. I'm just getting the shit into the stick lately.
So I have the variants. This is issue number 2. This is just a Jessica Jones mystery. The idea is that the Purple Man has planted like a time bomb in Jessica's mind to maybe do something to her, and all of these random versions of her have popped up, and that's this. It's a lot of fun.
Her variants.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, she like punches them out at one point. It's just like, it's really fun. I really like Phil Nota's art. Like, I tend to like Gail Simone's stories, and there's something about this story that I really like. Yeah. and Jessica Jones as a character, I tend to go back and forth on.
Right.
It really depends on like who's writing her, what's going on. Like I didn't really like I liked the Jessica Jones series on Netflix. Like I liked
Mhm.
the first season, but I don't know if I liked the first season because I like Jessica Jones or if I love David Tennant so much that I was like, of course I love this.
Yeah, no, that makes sense to me.
And he's like really good at being like a really terrible man. Like he's just
Mhm.
really great at that. So I don't know.
Okay. Would you perhaps go back and watch it again if you like read more Jessica Jones?
I
Okay.
would never go back and watch the Netflix Jessica Jones show. No.
Okay. That's fair.
There's too much content. I've watched it once. I got what I needed out of it. Like, no, thank you.
Okay. Sorry, Sagan's sleeping on the couch in here and she made a really weird noise.
It's all good.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just no, nope. It's good. This is a good book though. The variance is great. I would highly suggest it to people who do like Jessica Jones, people who like Phil Noto's art.
Mhm.
I don't think I think having like a vague idea of like what Jessica Jones' backstory is would help, but it also kind of just fills you right in.
Right. Yeah, I read that first one and I said it after we talked about it. Like I know prior knowledge of like Jessica Jones, except for the fact that her name is Jessica Jones and she bangs Luke Cage. Like I knew that.
Mm-hmm.
But I enjoyed the first issue quite a bit. I was a little confused because I don't know a lot of those characters from that sect of the Marvel universe.
Yeah.
But I wanted to read that second one because there's just something about it that made it very easy to understand what was happening.
Yeah.
So that's my take on it.
All right. So next we have Public Domain. This is issue number 2. This is our little Chip Zdarsky joint, if you will.
Yes.
This continues the story of a man and his sons fighting for his creation, and the creator kind of being apathetic to everything that's like happening.
I liked this one a lot because I mean, with the whole reveal at the end of the first issue, you get how each of the people in the family in this issue kind of deals with that news and what they think they should be doing in
Mm-hmm.
regards to that. I just thought that was a very cool thing because they all reacted very differently.
Yeah.
Just
And
very realistic, I guess.
yeah, I think there's something real to that. And I think, I don't know, I understand all edges of the like, circle and like how everybody is feeling. And
Mm-hmm.
it just does suck too, like reading this and being like very aware of how this all also plays into real life. And it just sucks. It sucks because it's like you can't take them on necessarily and win.
Right. No matter what evidence and proof you have, like it's a hard thing to do.
And even then it's like, is it worth it?
Mm-hmm.
Like how worth it is it, and like how much money do you get out of it in the end? And
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, I'm sure there's lots of stuff to it, but yeah, it's just like it's shitty when you really sit with it and think about it and like think about how many people like this affects. And I don't know, it's like a few years ago when the creator of Rocket Raccoon was like really really sick and was like had a GoFundMe going,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just like this character and this person like this like yeah, this character is just so fucking iconic at this point. And like this man has to do this
Mm-hmm.
like you can't treat these people with care. Like it's just yeah, it's gross.
Yeah.
And of course, like we both know that corporations are the worst. And we don't have to get into that sort of thing
That's a
right now.
whole other can of worms.
But yeah, that brings up a lot of, those feelings too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think he does a very good job of making it easy to explain and understand. Because I mean, a lot of people, I mean, we spend a lot of time reading about stuff like this too. So I feel like we have a very solid understanding of like what happens and what doesn't happen and that sort of stuff. But if some people don't necessarily know about that kind of stuff, this does a very good job of rounding it out in an easy to way, understandable way.
Yeah, agreed. I would highly suggest it. It's really good. I think it's really like, it's a really intelligent read.
Yeah.
Without being pretentious.
It's a very intelligent read, and it looks really good too. Like,
yeah,
Chip is doing a very good job with this one.
I'd say the art is really great. Like, reading this made me, like, I had forgotten how much like I love Chip's art. It's been just like so long.
Sex Criminals, right?
Yeah, and I know he's done issues of stuff like here and there.
Right.
It's just, it's so good, and I love it so much. So it's good to see.
I love our boy Chip.
We love our boy Chip. Our sweet friend.
Our best friend. All right. I have Good Boy. This is issue number 3 of volume 2. I think there's one more left, so I don't really have too much to say about this. The group of mercenaries, I guess, I just don't know what else to call them. They are going in to hunt the main bad guy. This goes in depth at the like how they became a group to begin with, which was during the war. I'm not sure which war. There's a lot in here that's kind of left open for your interpretation, which I think is pretty cool.
Yeah.
But they enlist the help of one of the guys' ex-girlfriends, because she's very good at like locating people and getting knowledge and stuff like that. She's a cat. This book is so silly, and I love it.
It's a pretty good reveal.
Yeah, it's I'm not going to show you her because that was my favorite part, because it's not a secret. They've talked about her multiple times within the series, but I guess I kept forgetting that she was a cat. So I like got to the page and I was like, oh.
Did they mention she was a cat?
Yeah, they have like multiple times, but it's just like didn't register until I saw her and I was like, oh, she's a cat. So yeah, this is just John Wick, but if the dogs were protecting the humans. It's very good. I know I've mentioned that before as well, but I never put the pieces together and realized that the dog's human's name was John. It was very funny.
Good.
Yeah, that's all I've got. I think that series is almost done. I hope there's not going to be another volume, because there's beaten in at that point.
Yeah. Kind of like the John Wick movies.
Yeah, which I wouldn't be surprised if they did a volume 3 just to keep up with it. And there's apparently a 4th one.
Yeah, there's a 4th one coming out.
Okay, I thought I saw a trailer for that recently, or read an article.
Or it's like, I think I saw a poster.
Yeah, that could have been what it was.
The internet made me see it. I don't care. I have Sandman, Nightman. That's not what it's called.
The Nightman Cometh.
Sandman, Nightman. This is Sandman Universe, Nightmare Country. This is issue number 4. This is just continuing the little Sandman story about the Corinthian, and this actually does have a little callback to the beginning of Sandman. So that
like the main series,
yeah, like the original Neil Gaiman series. It was like that's that meme with Leonardo DiCaprio when he's pointing at the TV. I was doing that at my comic book. I was like, oh, thank God I had it's not like relevant for you to know that information,
right?
But it was like one of those things where I was like, oh shit, I read this. I read this recently. So I suppose that Sandman read is working out for me.
Paying off. Are you enjoying this Nightmare Country? Because I know we had issues with like the first issue. Well, not issues necessarily, but like questions.
Yeah, I think the first one, like once I got past that, everything has really flown together. And I still really like that first issue. I think one of the things I really love the most about this series is they have guest artists on every single one.
Mm-hmm.
So like part of it is like your main series and then it's like a flashback or something else that happens where or like you're seeing somebody in a different area sort of thing with a different artist. And I really love that a lot. But yeah, I really like this book. I'm having a lot of fun just because it's one of those things where it's just like really grotesque, gross things trying to murder people.
Love that.
Yeah.
It's good.
So it's just good horror stuff in that way.
Perfect.
Okay. So now we have Detective Comics. This is 1062. This starts Ram on the writing of this book, and I've been excited for this one for like a minute now. And it's here, and it was worth it. It was really good.
Yeah, it was very, very good. And then the story in the back, which you and I had talked about, is very, very good too.
Yeah, that Salisbury and Danny story. Yeah, that was I almost liked it more than the Ram story, if I'm gonna be like 100% honest. Like I really, really liked that story a lot. Like the Ram story is top notch. Gotham opera literally is happening. And I like that. I like the dynamic. I love the art. I love the flow and the cadence. But there was something about that backstory that like I don't know why it was so good. It had like no right to be so good.
Yeah, it was. I did end up reading it after we had like talked about it, and I absolutely agree. It's incredible. I am a sucker for panels that are laid out like that, but not just like the art, the words.
Yeah.
When they're set up like that. I don't know what it is about that, but it just I love when they do that with certain stories. So it's definitely worth the read. The Ram story, or the Ram half of the book, and then the Salisbury one at the back. It was just overall just a very solid first issue for them.
Yeah, and the backstory by Salisbury is about Jim Gordon. So I don't know if that was also part of the reason it was so good. It's like that like dynamic of like him really diving into that character in such a really small amount of time. But yeah, it was really good. It was a really good book. Like one of the best Batman books on the shelf, if not like the best right now. And reading a lot of Batman books, so I feel like I can say that.
Yeah, absolutely. You have that right.
I voted. I'm reading them. I can do what I want.
We've got so many Batman books. It's
the Talk Comics to Me declaration of the week.
Yes, we can do it. All right. I have Nottingham. This is issue number 9. There's one issue left, so I don't really have much to say about this. The sheriff is kind of putting all the pieces together and discovering who has the king, who's betraying who, what's happening and stuff. And there's a big twist at the end of this one that kind of puts the sheriff in danger. So I have no idea how this story is going to end.
Okay.
It's very strange. But
do you think it's going to end? Is 12 it?
10.
10? Okay.
10 is it, yeah. As far as I know, I mean, because it was only supposed to be what, like 6 issues, 7, something like that, yeah. So 10 is supposed to be the last one. And I'm just not sure how it's gonna end at all. But I'm excited to see it because the way that this one ended was like, so I just don't know. I just don't know what they could possibly do. So I'll let you know.
I love that.
Yeah, no, it was really cool. And I do really enjoy the story. I've liked it since the beginning, Robin Hood, Sheriff of Nottingham. It's super cool. But with this second story arc, apparently if you like have all the issues next to each other, it creates one big picture and has like a saying across the bottom. So when I get the next one, I'm of course going to lay it all out and I'm going to see what it looks like.
That's cool. I like that.
I like it too.
Okay, I have a Swamp Thing. This is issue number 15. There's only one more issue of this. So yeah, I don't have a lot to say. Just wrapping up the story. Swampy has, I think, is trying to find a way to talk to this kind of evil that is trying to start a war, and that's about it. That's really good. I really like this story a lot. I think there's a lot going on. I think reading it monthly kind of sucks for that
Mhm.
matter. But like it's really good and I'm enjoying it. I just will look forward to like reading it in a more like all at once sitting because I think it'll benefit from that.
Do you think that would just be an ideal way to read it for like anyone?
Yeah, but it sucks because the way they're putting out the trades is not very like it's a weird way because I remember trying to look it up and it was just like because they that first half came out like we were still at the old shop.
Mm-hmm.
Like I know we moved it to like in December probably.
Yeah. Okay. I vaguely remember like seeing that.
And I think that was like 1 through 6.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, and I remember the second trade didn't come out for like a good chunk of time. It was just weird. So I think it's like a hardcover that's collecting all 16.
That
That
be
would be the
pretty-
way. Yeah.
Yeah, because they did do that weird thing where they kept making it longer. So
Mhm.
I can see why that would be hard to like get a specific set of trades for it because I mean it was supposed to be 12 originally, right?
I think it was supposed to be 6 originally,
Okay.
and then
Okay.
maybe it got extended to 10, and then it got extended to 16, something like that. Or maybe it was like 10 and then it was to 16. It was something like that where it was like,
Yeah. So yeah, that makes it very confusing when you're trying to collect them because
mhm.
yeah. Okay.
So yeah, I think it'd be better read in trade. I think the way that they did the trades was confusing, so
Mm-hmm.
it's fine.
All right. All right.
Okay, we only find them when they're dead. This is issue number 12. Heather read this. I did not. I'm still behind. I'm sorry. I failed you
Yes.
all.
So I'm not going to say too much about it, but I am going to say this continues what happens, like the reveal that happens in the previous issue, and then kind of goes into how that affects one of the main characters in this issue. So there it does get a little confusing. Like I was telling Champ, it kind of goes back and forth on like one incident that happened and then how it affected the present situation. So I think if I were to go back and read 11 and then 12, it might make more sense. But because this is a very dense book and it is a lot of back and forth and stuff, when you're reading one issue every month, it's easy for pieces to kind of fall through the cracks. So
Yeah.
I think that this is a book that would benefit from reading in trades rather
Yeah,
than
because
single
I was
issues.
saying it bounces back and forth through time a lot.
Yeah.
Which is fine, but also, yeah, can be confusing
Yeah.
after a month to month because you're like, what year was it when the last time I read?
Right. And that's something that is in this issue a lot is like, this is it this year. This is this year. And it's just, I like the way that they do it. I think that's really cool. You're getting literally all sides of the stories, but it does get confusing when you're trying to figure out, well, what year did this thing happen?
So
Like
trying
what
to
year are
suss
we
it
in?
all out. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, no, this is definitely a book that I would recommend, but recommend reading through trades per story arc. It'd just be way easier. Like
Yeah.
I want people to be able to enjoy this story because it's a very, very good story, but I feel like that's going to be the only way unless you have a better memory than we do, which I doubt.
I suppose if you're only reading like this book and a couple others, it would be a
Yeah.
little bit easier. Or if you're
Yeah.
just like kind of late on single issues, like and read them all in one go, which is
Mhm.
same as reading a trade, but
Yeah, this is one that I would like to go back and read from the very beginning, but like take notes while I'm rereading it so
Mhm.
I can remember certain things that are happening because they do reference so many things that happened in like the first story arc that like what was that, a year and a half, 2 years ago? Like
at least 2 years ago. Because
yeah,
like I
it's
think last year was that other story arc.
right. Yeah, it's just hard to remember like certain things because this story arc so far they talk a lot about Moloch. And like they did in the last one, but it was more or less like how people view him now, whereas this one talks about Moloch before the first story arc. So it's like, it's very confusing.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna go.
Go ahead.
Okay, this is Beware the Eye of Odin. This is issue number 2. I can't remember how many issues this was supposed to be. I know it's limited, like 3,
4,
maybe 4. Yeah. So this is just following a group of people. There's like a prince, the blacksmith, and then this crazy woman that follows them. They're on their own little mission. In this issue, they are trying to like hide from the trolls because the trolls are going around like killing people who enter the woods, which I don't remember what the woods are called. There is a name for them. It's an actual real woods.
the real wood.
The real wood. But they are, in this one, they are on a mission to find the Earthsmithers, I think is what they're called. Stonesmithers. I cannot remember. I apologize. But they are the only place that they will be able to hide from the trolls, but they'll also have information about the magical axe that our main character is wielding. So it's just little missions that they're going on. And it was all right. Like there were things that I really did like. I do like about this series. But there's also just a lot that Earthen Smiths is what it is what they're called. But yeah, there's just a lot that it's almost like too goofy for like how serious they're trying to make the story. I don't know. I might check out the next one, but I wasn't really grabbed by these first 2. Like I gave the second one a chance because I normally do like these types of stories, but I just don't.
Yeah, that one lacked substance even within that first issue. So
yeah, and I was hoping that like with this one it would make more sense and like you would have more character development or like plot development, which in a way you do, but it's hard to move forward with the plot when you don't know or care about these characters at all. So I don't know. I might just take it off my poll and like read the third one when it comes in, because it's not for me. It's not my bag.
And it's like a $4.99 book too.
Yeah, which
$5.99
you get a lot. Like it's a thick book, but I don't think I'm interested.
Okay. Well, I will talk about Something is Killing the Children. This is issue number 25. It's wild to think we've been going this long. Stuff really like heats up in this issue. This was like a really intense issue since Erica left Archer's Peak. The House of Slaughter has kind of been after her. After them. The House of Slaughter has hired somebody within the house who's kind of an assassin to go after them, after Erica. And so that's like Erica is fighting a monster in Obscura, I'm pretty sure is what they call it. But it's pretty brutal looking monster. I loved it. I loved the way it looked. It did have like I'll show it to you anyway.
That's so cool.
And yeah, it's got an eye in the middle of its stomach. It's like it's really fucking gross and creepy. I love this book so much. But yeah, she's dealing with this monster and this wildness in this town, and also on the other hand is having this like assassin after them. So I don't know, I really like it a lot. I like the dynamics of this like particular story arc and how I like how they flowed from like, I think it was like issue 17 is when Archer's Peak was done, or when it started the new story arc of like after that, and kind of did the backstory of like how Erica got to the House of Slaughter, their time there, and the connections they've made with people. And here it kind of builds more upon that and like uses that knowledge to like further the story and show you like how serious things actually are. So yeah, it's really good. Like it's just like continues to be really good. I finished it and I was like, fuck, that's shit.
Yeah, every issue seems like has been very solid. Like every time you talk about it, it seems like a really good story.
Yeah, I say even like the issues where it's like more downtime, it's still moving the story along. You're still learning stuff. It's still building this world of these monster hunters and like who they are. And I think we'll get to House of Slaughter next, but like having House of Slaughter and that going in depth into like the different masks and like their relationships within the house, maybe not necessarily this one as much as I think the last story arc of House of Slaughter with, why am I blanking on his name?
I can't even remember his name. And
Aaron
yes,
Slaughter.
I was like, I just looked at those like a few days ago.
But yeah, I think as a whole, they've just built a really interesting world. I know that like it's gotten picked up for TV, but like I told you earlier, I don't want it. I don't want it as a TV show. Like I'm perfectly fine as it being this. And I think that's what I want out of it. Like I don't like some comics just should stay comics. And that's why that's why this medium is cool, is because like there's something like this where you can just like, massacre children, have really
Right.
scary monsters, and it's really, really good. I don't need it as a television show. I'm perfectly like satisfied. It's like Department of Truth too. It's like I love the shit out of that book, and like I want all of the success for all of the creators I love, but I don't need it as a TV show.
It's just sometimes it's so hard to translate like what is happening in the comics to like TV. And yeah, like you said, that's what makes it such a cool medium, is because like for a lot of this stuff you need to use your imagination, and putting it as a TV show, it wouldn't have the same feel, it wouldn't have the same magic as like reading it.
And I think it just like takes like you can't capture the same magic like as you get from the book and like the artists who are making it. Because I think it's something that's like came up in Thor: Love and Thunder, is that scene of like when him and Korg are standing on the mountain looking at the like corpse of that god, and how it's like it can't compare to the actual art in the comic, and it's like it legitimately can't. And I don't, and I think I know it's weird because it's like I've always wanted to see a lot of my favorite things turn into television shows, but I think I've just become a person now who just like doesn't want that.
Well, because they do it so often and they just can't capture the same mood. And that's my biggest complaint anyways, because I'm the same way, where I'm like, you've already tried this with so many other things and it just fails because you're not capturing the right feelings.
And yeah, like what it is.
Yeah, the essence of the story. It sucks, and I don't know, it bums me out.
Yeah, so anyway, that was a rant I wasn't expecting going into. But yeah, I love Something is Killing the Children. I think it is 100% worth a read. Yeah, since the beginning. I know I always say this when I talk about this book, but yeah, that first issue I just wasn't sure, and then since like the second issue on, I've been 100% sold, where I'm just like, yeah, this fucking rules. Like this just rocks. So
I am, before we stop recording today, remind me immediately after we're done, I need to go order the trade for the first one.
Okay.
I keep forgetting to do that, and I meant to do that when I was at work yesterday and just completely forgot. So now
we have House of Slaughter. This is issue number 7. This is Scarlet Part 2. This follows.
I had a lot of thoughts about this.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I love these 2 issues. I know I haven't really read much of this universe before, but like I said, there's a certain mood, a certain feeling to these comics, and I feel like this story arc in particular captures this mood that I love in comics. It's so like quiet and eerie, and they just do a very, very good job. So it's following character Edwin, who is like sent on this assignment to investigate a death essentially this woman is found in a body of water and she's missing her eyes, and around that same area there's a lot of things that are happening with people's eyes, like missing eyes and stuff. So because he is very good at reading things differently than other people within the house, he is sent there to investigate it by himself. I loved this issue in particular. My favorite thing about it is the relationship that he has with his paintbrush or his pen.
With his
Hermes?
monster.
Hermes, is that what his name is?
I don't remember.
Something like that. But I love the dynamic between the two of them, because Edwin is very like quiet and introspective and again moody, whereas his monster is very emotional, like the exact opposite of it. So I think their relationship is solid. I love this story. I've been thinking about this since I read it the other day when I texted you about it. Like I love this character. I love the way that the story is being told, because there's so much going on.
It's really in depth too. And this is like another thing I've liked about this like House of Slaughter part, is that it's just like the storytelling is so different from the main story. The storytelling from this story arc from the last story arc is very different. And I really like that. And just really, and I do really like this story a lot. I like, yeah, like you said, I like the tone. The tone is like a very good tone.
Yeah, I like the way that this character is built, because the way that he like draws things that already exist, like things that people have already drawn before, to better understand what the person was feeling when they created their art or whatever. And something that I had forgotten, because I didn't read Something is Killing the Children, but you and I had talked about it one time, was that the fact that the kids can see the monsters but the adults can't. And so that kind of, I was reminded of that in here, when the things that he's drawing in his book, like the kids can see what he's drawing but the adults can't.
Yeah,
that completely and I was like, well, why can't they see that? And then it kind of registered, like, it's because of the monster, like that's what's happening. But it's just a very good story and I really like it. I had a lot of feelings when I read this one.
nothing wrong with that.
It's just good. So yeah, once I read Something is Killing the Children, I'll be able to talk more with Champ about it.
It's over for you bitches.
Unstoppable.
Okay, so now we have orcs.
Orcs. The curse. Or as it is in Diamond, the wizard.
Well, there is a wizard. So
I know.
And there is a curse. So I guess neither one is wrong, but this is the title, The Curse. Yeah. This just continues.
About the curse.
This just continues a little story about orcs, and that's there's nothing much to say about this.
Yeah, no, this kind
of a little silly book.
This issue goes more in depth with the curse that is going on within this series, but it's just a cute little orcs adventure.
Yeah.
Is this, the first one was 3 issues, right?
I think the first one was 4.
Okay.
4 or 5. I know it was definitely more than 3.
Yeah, no, I was trying to think about that because, yeah, it was 4. It was 4. I do remember that now. I wonder if this one's going to be 4. This is just a lot of fun. It's just a very fun.
I like the art a lot too.
Story.
Like I like the art and colors. It's really, yeah. And it is just fun. Like when I read it, I'm just like, okay, I'm in for like a little bit of a good time.
Yeah, it reminds me of like if the creators of Adventure Time like made another story. This is what it reminds me of. It's just so goofy. There's so much silly stuff that happens in it, but it's like it's a lot of fun. It's just good.
Okay.
Goofy little orc story about a curse.
And on the flip side, we've got Deadly Class. This is issue number 54. A couple more issues until we are at the end.
This is also about a curse. The curse of selling out.
The curse of self-deprecation.
Yep. The curse of growing up.
I think that's like really the best way to describe this particular issue.
Yeah, okay. It takes place in
20.
You know what's funny is like when I was reading this, like not on here, I had such a hard time trying to figure out what year it was. Not even noticing that Trump was right there. But when I hold it up like this, that's 2015.
Yeah, it's 2015. So yeah, this is just wrapping up Deadly Class. This is just following Marcus Moore and his time in Hollywood.
I mean, this paragraph right here in the letter is completely sums up what the issue is about.
Yeah.
The internal conflict of a former subculture elitist. Can't Marcus just enjoy the ride? No. People who can love platitudes like that are mysteries that Marcus can't trust. What are they really up to? There you go. That's the issue.
Yeah, I would say we described it really well.
Yeah.
I think that's like part of the reason I didn't like it a whole bunch, but
it was pretty dull. Like we did have that whole conversation before we started recording of like,
just so I didn't say mean things.
Yeah.
Not mean things, but like things I just didn't want to say.
Yeah. It's basically just about Marcus dealing with the fact that he's an adult now and he has to do things that he may not have done when he was younger because of the person that Marcus is.
Yeah. It is like bittersweet getting up to like the end here. It's like I'm ready, but I'm not ready.
I just
as I've said many times.
At this point, I'm just like, I very much do not know what direction this story is going. And I know that's done on purpose. So like when the ending does come, it's like explosive, I guess, like something big happens, but
it was all a dream. He's already dead.
Do not do that.
I'm just going to plant that seed just in case.
Okay. Thank you. I will water it and let it bloom. We'll see what happens.
Though I don't think that's the case, but.
No, because there's so many questions that have not been answered yet. So many things that have happened in like the last couple issues that like I need more background on. I need more clarification on the things that happened. Characters that just randomly disappear in one issue and are no longer brought up again. Where is she? I need her.
I mean, you're not wrong. And I'm surprised you're the first one to bring it up because you know how much I love her.
I know.
And it's been like 4 issues.
I don't understand like where is she? I need to know. It's driving me crazy.
Yeah, and I'm sure we'll get there.
I hope so.
Well, it'll be a bittersweet ending, I think, no matter what. Just I don't know. Yeah. I think that is the other thing is like I felt like by this point I would have a clearer idea of what might be about to transpire.
Yeah, no,
but it is very much just like
because I ask you like every time we get an issue, like how do you think this is going to end? And like I said, there's like I can't even ask that question anymore because like I always have theories and I don't have anything.
Yeah, it's an interesting like it's like the last several years of Marcus's life that we've watched in this like very good relationship he has with Maria and like this stardom that he has from writing. It is very strange and it doesn't feel cohesive necessarily with the rest of like everything that's happened because it feels like breaking away from all of that stuff and then having that notoriety would be very much impossible.
It feels like a fever dream.
Yeah. That's why I'm telling you what I said to you.
All right. The pieces are moving.
So we'll see. Like, yeah, we'll really see what happens. I am very interested in, it does. There's something about it that feels unreal. And
It
it's
feels like they're still in Vegas doing all those drugs, like when they were getting married.
so yeah, it's that's it. That's all I gotta say. I don't have anything else that would be productive.
Yeah, I mean, there's really, again, it's nearing the end. We can't really say too much about it anyway, especially because there's not a whole lot that really moves forward in this issue. So, yeah, a few more. We'll talk about it when it's done.
We'll have to have like a whole time with that.
I know and compared to like you, I know I reread, like started from the beginning fairly recently. It was in the last few years. I kind of wanted to like start from the beginning again with like once it's finished, just so I could again take notes and talk about it. And maybe that can be one of our Patreon episodes.
Yeah, well, I launched it, so
I saw the email today, so I wanted to bring it up, and maybe we could mention our plan for it, since we talked about it last week and potentially doing it now that it's up. We do have a Patreon going. We're still trying to work out the logistics and everything for it, but I mean, we have ideas.
yeah, and it's under Talk Comics to me if you just want to go to it and subscribe anyway. And there's a tier where it's just, giving us some money every month because you love us.
We will be, creating stickers.
Yeah, it just like if you sign up for one of our Patreon tiers, you automatically get a sticker.
Okay, cool. I love that.
So
there's that. I mean, yeah, just supporting us, giving us money because you can would be like beautiful.
Yeah, and $3 is like not even a comic.
It's not, unless it's Saga, but we're not going to talk about that either. But yeah, we'll text more or text. We will talk more about.
We'll text you.
Yeah, we'll send you a newsletter. Specific episodes and stuff that we're going to be doing. Whatever, we'll figure it out. We'll let you know. There's going to be prizes, rewards, tiers. We have ideas.
I don't know if there'll be prizes, but we can say there'll be prizes, maybe.
Well, the prize is just supporting us and us loving it.
Oh, is that a prize? Okay.
It is. Yeah.
That seems right. Yeah, that seems right. Okay. With that, that's I think actually all we have for reals.
Yeah.
So thanks for supporting us, and go support your local comic book shops and buy some comics. Support your local libraries.
You got to do it, please.
Support your friends. Take care of each other. There's nothing more I can really ask of you.
I thought I was trying to remember if I like brought up everything that I wanted to this time, and I think my biggest thing was the Patreon. So yeah, just love, take care, love.
Okay, so we'll see you on the flippity flip flop.